Oh yeah. Let me see. Yes, we are live on Facebook. Hi everybody. So I think we're also now live on YouTube. Can you guys say something so I could test the audio? Ali?
Hi, testing.
Testing.
Great. All right, yeah, we're also live on YouTube.
Hi, Beej and Mars and Michael or Mikey, sorry.
Great. So I see Deborah saying
Muscal.
Deborah is saying yes, live on Facebook. Thank you, Deborah. Okay, good. I see we have good audio. Lindsay on Facebook is saying here from Louisiana. Tracy, hi Tracy, who we have on YouTube. Oh, so guys, we're going to be covering the latest news on atheism, religion, secularism, some politics. So a lot of people, when we do stuff on politics, people are always like, what does this have to do with atheism? And every time we have to clarify. If you see this on our page, can you please tell people that Atheist Republic is a community for atheists. It's not necessarily always about atheism. It's not always about religion. It's a community for atheists. We get to, just because we're atheists, that doesn't mean we're only going to talk about atheism, right?
Oh, yeah, we like other stuff too.
Right. By the way, we have Ali here. Give back again on
Yay!
Yay! Ali, say something.
Hi, I saw that Beej was on, so I want to say hi because I've missed some of you guys a lot. I was so used to talking to you, so I'm happy to see you still here.
Oh, you know, you and Beej already talked to each other? That's great.
Just through the news.
Oh yeah, Beej was yeah. So Beej has been here for a long time. She's admin now on the live chat, YouTube live chat. So and she's doing her and Christy are doing a great job. Okay, cool. So right before we get into the top news, really quickly, we have one new patron this week, Jim.
As always, we want to thank our patrons, our patrons. I'm sorry, our donors for donating to us. Without you guys, we couldn't do what we do. Thank you so much, Nick Miller, for your $5 donation. And if you guys want to donate, you can check out our Patreon. And we also now have a subscribe star, so we are now accepting cryptocurrency. So you can check out our subscribe star as well.
Oh, we also just got a super chat from Just Sue. Thank you so much. $5 super chat from Just Sue. Yeah, very kind. All right,
awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, enough of the fluff. Let's get into the meat. What's the first news?
On Valentine's Day, over 10,000 Surat students to pledge to not marry without parents' consent. In Surat, over 10,000 students from various schools are expected to take an oath to never marry without consent of their parents. It was proposed by Kamlesh Masalawa, a city-based laughter therapist who runs Laughter Club, Crying Club in Surat. The students on Thursday recited 8 lines of a poem written by city-based child psychiatrist Dr. Mukul Choksi, who is also a poet. Part of the poem reads, "We will love this gift of life given by God, not just our lover, we shall love the whole family."
What the fuck is this?
I don't even know what this means.
Yeah, Ali, what the hell is this about? I don't understand.
Oh, so this is actually something that's pretty traditional in the Christian, or at least Southern Baptist religion. I did something similar when I was a little girl. I think I've spoken about this before, if not here on another interview. But we would go to Sunday school camps and sometimes have Sunday school weekend sleepover parties, during one of which we all dressed up and married Jesus Christ and pledged our virginity to Jesus Christ until we were married. So this seems like something that's absolutely similar. One thing that struck me about this article, though, was that they said that they weren't forcing students to participate in this event. However, you know, when you put this through schools, right, and children are seeing their friends do it and things of that nature, there's a lot more pressure being put on children to join in, whether they want to or not. And I think it's really sick.
Yeah, there's a big purity culture in the South, especially in the Protestant church communities, where we're to the point where I'm sure you've seen it, Allie. I'm sure many people who watching have seen it. These purity balls in which they pretty much go through a mock wedding in which they marry Jesus, and their father gives them away. And it's a very, very twisted
Where is
concept.
This? Did you mention the country?
It's the United
States.
No. in Surat.
No. This article, not your.
No,
story.
the article's Surat. Yeah.
In Surat.
Yeah, but you have to. That's a province in India, right?
Yes.
Okay, so not everybody knows that, guys. You have to mention the country. And is this like a Hindu school or a Christian school, or it can't be a Muslim school? I see the girls; none of them are wearing hijab. What kind of school is this? Is this like
it's all over? It's different schools all over Surat.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a this is based on a proposal by this therapist, this quote unquote therapist, whose therapy method is based on laughter.
You know, this is the reason why this is not just a joke, but it's fucked up in beyond just being ridiculous. Is that this is actually the way you get children practice sex that is not safe, right? The more you tell teenagers, especially, that sex is evil, sex is bad, you're not gonna stop them from having sex. The only thing you're gonna do, probably, again, this is probably, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but the likely thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna get them to have sex without you knowing about it, right?
Right, and without the proper education.
Exactly, without the proper education, and that leads to spreading disease and also unwanted pregnancies. If you
there's actually there's a deeper part of this that I think we kind of missed. That their oath was specifically to never marry without the consent of their parents. Yes. So this isn't just about sex. This is about absolute and complete control.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's still that concept that exists where the person who is dating the woman, and I know I definitely experienced it, where there's this obligation in which to fulfill the father's how do you say it, favor? Like you have to appeal to him in some way, and if he doesn't accept you, then it's not acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, the fact what they're promising is that even when they become adults, which at the time that they should have full control over who they want to be with and have full control over their life, independent from their parents, they still have to get the consent of the. And again, this therapist are they using any religious arguments? Because if they're not, this to me shows that the influence of religion even outside of religious circles, right? Like one example is like circumcision, which is even done by secular parents, for example, or non-religious parents, but it is definitely because of the influence of religion. But this whole purity culture, I think is mostly because of Abrahamic religion. So much so that even religions that didn't have such purity cultures, like Hinduism, were influenced by Abrahamic religion into becoming obsessed with purity culture. I might be. What do you guys think?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure it stems from that, but I think just in the end, it just all goes back to control, just like this patriarchal concept that a man has to have a woman under his thumb, and their children are possessions until they are given to another to possess.
Is this a man-woman thing, or is this mostly just parent-children thing, kids thing? Because I think this is something that the boys are supposed to promise their parents as well.
Right. Yeah, it is. But it's a concept of basically children not being able to make their choices, make on their own. But what I don't understand is, like, these are students. I mean, I don't know how many oaths, quote unquote, I took from people coming to my school that I've just forgotten and that mean nothing. But at the same time, I can't imagine what sort of subliminal indoctrination, was a consequence of that I'm not aware of.
Right. Well, Jim, I think a good example of that, Jim, would be the DARE program.
Exactly.
You remember? Okay. So in the United States, just for people who don't know what the DARE program was, it was an attempt to brainwash children that any sort of drug that you put into your body, marijuana, anything, led absolutely to your demise. If you started off on marijuana, you absolutely would turn to heroin. You absolutely would turn to cocaine. And I remember in fifth grade, we had to pledge, we had to promise, this was forced, okay, on every student that was there. We had to promise to never touch a drug. We had to promise this and make these pledges. And it was weird.
Yeah, and it was almost like you weren't accepted if you weren't a part of this. Like in my school, it was really popular. Like the DARE program was cool because Officer Ron came to our school, and and he would do drug abuse resistance education. And they had the little the lion mascot that would show up. And if you didn't participate, and if you didn't in this group thinking cult almost, then you weren't good enough.
Right, and that's what I'm afraid these students here in Surat are having to face. They come to their schools, they pump them full of these messages that are, you need to listen to. And a laughing therapist. Can someone please explain to me what a laughing therapist is? That's insane. But they come to these kids' schools. They get them all riled up, and if you don't marry without your parents' consent, if it's anything like the program Jim and I went through, you're gonna have a life of disparity. You're gonna get raped in prison and blah blah blah. Like it was just insane. It was insane the stuff we were told. So I can only imagine what these students are told. And then of course it's completely optional if they want to take part after you've spent time pumping these children's heads full of crazy ideas of what's going to happen to them if they don't get their parents. It's brainwashing. It's sad.
Right. And there was a reward system. The people who, in my school at least, the people who didn't participate during the DARE program when it was there, they would have to do schoolwork. They would be going into another classroom. They would do schoolwork. They didn't get to watch a video. They didn't get to hang out with a mascot. They didn't get to go outside. It was almost a punishment.
That's very tricky. Anyways, we do need to go to the next news. I also thank you in the live chat for telling me that my audio level was lower. I think I fixed it. Let me know if it's fixed. I don't know how Skype keeps controlling my microphone and brings the audio level lower. I keep going back to my sound setting and bring it back up. I removed the Skype's permission to change my audio levels, but it seems to keep doing that, so I don't know what to do about that, but I'll try. Anyways, my audio, I think it's fixed. Let me know. Thank you, Jack and Beach. Okay, Darko is saying you're good. Thank you, Darko. Cool. Fixed, Armin. Thank you, Beach. All right, we spent a lot of time on this one, and this is the reason we have. So I'm going to try to keep my opinions a little bit less, but there are some news items here that I need to get in. But now there's 3 of us. Each news item is going to have a lot more opinions on it, but it's just fine, I guess. Unless
one more.
Yeah, no, in 3. Yeah, 3. We have 3 hosts. But in the live chat, if you guys think that we are spending actually, I shouldn't encourage them that. Never mind. We'll decide if we're spending too long on a news episode or not. Cool. All right. Should we go to the next one? By the way, I don't want to discourage you, Jim and Ellie. You guys don't hold back, okay? Because you think are going too long. If I think,
you know what, just tell us anyways.
All right. Okay. I think it's fine, guys. Let us know if you think we're going too long on each of the news articles. Okay, go. All right, Jim. Next news.
Gay atheist Polish mayor is out to diminish the power of the Catholic Church. Robert Biedron, an atheist and the first openly gay official in Poland, announced plans on Sunday to establish a new political party, Wiosna, to diminish the church's influence in his country by placing tighter restrictions on it. In launching it, Biedron opposes the Conservative Law and Justice Party, which supports the Catholic Church. With this party, the tax breaks that the church receives will be eliminated, which will bring an end to the religious lesson schools that are compelled to teach and allow abortion to take place prior to 12 weeks gestation.
Whoa. This is okay. I'm pretty sure we're gonna say this is great. We support this guy, and then all of a sudden, somebody in the live chat is gonna be like, "Actually, this guy is a neo-Nazi" or something like that. I don't know. So I don't know.
Okay, let's talk about the policy. Let's not talk about the person.
Right.
Let's talk about the action.
All right. Okay, yeah,
So-
the action is great. I don't know, I don't know if this guy has anything else that he's doing that is abhorrent or anything. I'm gonna say that this is great, and me saying this is great is not an endorsement of anything else he might have done or not have done that I have no idea of. This action specifically seems fucking fantastic. Isn't it? Doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know, because I mean, Wilesden is a whole new political party, and this is only one stance, on one platform in that political party. And so, I mean, I agree with eliminating the tax breaks that the Catholic Church gets. I absolutely agree. If I believe in a separation of church and state. I believe that is the best thing for any country. But I don't know the other entailments of Wilesden, so I can't really speak as to the benefit of an additional party. But apparently there's enough of a difference that going with traditional parties didn't represent him well enough.
Yeah, Ali, what do you think?
I'm elated. I also think it's sad that both of you had to spend so much time explaining that one action is the thing that you like and not the guy.
Right.
I'm sad that we're in that place now, but should we all be so lucky as far as these things are concerned? Wouldn't it just be such a relief in America, for instance, if we could get rid of tax breaks for churches? It's just insane to me. And also, if they're going to be teaching religious lessons in school, making them teach that abortion is okay, prior to 12 weeks. I think that's such an important lesson to start establishing if we're going to look at it from a scientific standpoint. I know that abortion is a very touchy topic for a lot of people, but before 12 weeks, I think that's a good place to stop that.
Oh no, Ali, you're gonna get so many angry people now.
I honestly do.
What? Say that again. Say that again, Ali. What did you say?
Said me in my mouth.
No, it's okay.
Well, the only reason that I disagree is because most women don't even find out they're pregnant until that point.
I completely disagree with that. I mean, having had many children, I disagree. But you know what? It's
okay. Well, maybe not most, but it does happen very often. I mean, and
some don't even know that they're pregnant until a baby plops out of them. So I mean, it can happen. Absolutely, Jim. I do understand that. But
what is your opposition to moving it to like 16 weeks or 19 weeks?
Don't have an opposition. I just said that's a good place to start. You know what I mean?
Start. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I got you.
It's a good place to start.
Right. I'm gonna go on record just to invite all the hate to myself, Ellie. I'm gonna go on record and say I don't give a shit about fetuses. They don't matter. Fetuses don't matter. Okay. You do whatever you want with them. Okay. Do whatever you want to fetuses. I don't give a shit. They have zero rights. Okay. So,
until when?
Until they're born.
Until they're born?
Yeah.
So even third trimester?
So yeah, I actually disagree with you.
All right.
That.
I know, but
I do too.
I'm just inviting I'm just inviting all the hates from you to myself. That's what I'm doing. But
I would say that anything after 21 weeks would be wrong.
I don't care. They're not self-aware, so they don't matter.
If it's not my body, I don't.
Well, neuroscience tells us differently.
Are they self-aware? Okay. They're not self-aware, but they're not
at 21 weeks is whenever you start seeing neural activity. So that's
that
when
doesn't mean
being processed.
Yeah, a dog has neural activity. A dog is not self-aware. Self-aware doesn't mean neural activity. They're not self-aware.
Okay. But the thing is that we don't know what self-awareness is or how to detect that. So you can't say that it's not self-aware if we can't detect it in the first place.
We do know that, but I don't want to turn this into a scientific chat, though, right?
We can go on about this all night.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But the top comment on Facebook is in Poland ? I wish him the best of luck. I mean, this is supposed to be a very Christian country, right? Like very Catholic. So this is pretty. Right. This is very surprising, isn't it? Based on what I know about Poland.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally they pick heavily religious people or people that support the Catholic Church.
Right. How's this going? Are Polish people happy about this, or is he getting a lot of pushback? We don't know. Do we know?
It seems like the only pushback that he's getting is from the Catholic Church.
That's impressive. That's great.
We should take this to our Polish consulate. And
we should ask our Atheist Republic Polish consulate. Good idea. This person that I can't pronounce their name is saying, "I'm from Poland, and I must say that finally someone is talking with sense, especially the part about putting taxes on church, which should have been done a long time ago." Good. We have somebody from Poland that is saying this. There's some memes here. Thomas saying, "Don't diminish the power of the Catholic Church. Eliminate it." Well, yeah. I mean, it's easier to eliminate it when they have less power. So I don't know how they're goes against each other. Ireland then Poland next. Yeah. Good. Ireland also has made a lot of progress against the Catholic Church. Anything that we need to read from the YouTube live chat, Jim?
I don't know. You pissed a lot of people off.
Oh my God! Really? That was by design.
I believe that.
Okay. Thank you, Armin.
Oh, Christy has to work. Oh, sorry. Who did I piss off? I'm not saying anybody. Okay, Muscal is saying, "I had a fat teacher that didn't know she was pregnant until she was almost due. At least that's what she claims." I don't know. Maybe she's lying. We don't know.
Mike says at the start of that party, he had something like 14% of support from his constituents.
Right. Renzo is saying also the article. Okay, well, you should read more of Renzo's comments because he has. When it comes to Europe, Renzo is our live chat.
I didn't see him, but you're reading it, so thank you.
Renzo is our live chat expert at all things Europe related. Also, the article paints the simplistic portrait. Oh wait, this is a continuing of something else. About Renzo at the top says the headline is partially incorrect. This guy, which I can't pronounce his last name, Robert Batron, resigned as mayor of some city that I can't pronounce. Holy shit. In November 2018, he was succeeded by a member of his new spring party. Okay. Renzo, I love your details, but this might be a little bit too much detail. Also, the article paints a simplistic portrait of Poland, while it is a very religious country by EU standards. Oh, this is actually good information. So, by EU standards, society is very divided over moral, cultural, and religious affairs. So, basically, Renzo is saying, compared to other countries in the EU, it is more religious, but maybe globally, we can't look at Poland as a very religious country. Keep going.
But within his power, within his context, he is diminishing the power. That is what he's setting out to do.
But it seems like we're suggesting like this guy is basically going against this huge the public, but maybe he has a lot of support in the public, maybe, right?
Well, no, because I mean, in order to do that, he'd have to be the gay atheist mayor of the Vatican or something.
Right. Renzo. Okay. Renzo is saying for one of those jokes Jim makes that I don't find funny, but it's okay. Ali, you were supposed to laugh. Okay, no, it's funny. Ali, you were supposed to laugh, so Jim doesn't feel bad.
No, it's okay. All right, somebody's out there laughing. That guy's laughing.
Okay,
he knows who I'm talking to.
Renzo. Okay, Renzo is saying. Okay, Renzo, that's a lot of detail. Mike is saying at the start of that party. I said that already. Oh, you read that. Never mind. I wasn't paying attention when you were reading. Christy, it's great to have Christy in the live chat. Bye, Christy, and she has to go, but she just wanted to drop in and say hi.
Hi, Christy.
Let me see if anybody tagged Atheist Republic on Facebook live chat. No, okay. Should we go to the next article?
Yeah. Child of anti-vaxxers turns 18, calls parents illogical, and gets his shots. Bravo. Ethan Lindenberger, a young man from Ohio who turned 18, got vaccinated after his parents did not take him for his shots. Months ago, he posted his story on Reddit and asked people if he could get inoculations on his own. His post was updated to say he had an appointment to get his shots and his mom was angry, but his dad did not care that much. some of his other family members are now thinking about getting their shots too.
Oh, great!
As that's a happy story.
You know, this whole making fun of anti-vaxxers is really catching up on the internet. It's becoming its own meme, which is really good. This is a meme that I support a lot. Like, it's becoming more popular to ridicule any anti-vaxxers.
But at the same time, I think that it's counterproductive in a way, because because you have people who are trolling and not necessarily providing factual information, and in not providing factual information, and often what you do is you drive that person to cling to that belief even more.
No, well, it's okay to not provide factual information. Let's look at satire, for example, right?
Well, sure,
satire is outrageously exaggerated. It's not always true, but it holds such a huge effect on people. They say, I feel this way. You know, I'm an anti-vaxxer, but you know, things aren't like what this satire says, but it wears on them. It affects them. It hurts them, and they have to heal from that hurt. And there's two ways to heal from the hurt. You double down on your own ideas, or you relieve yourself of them. So I think that it's good. You know, some light trolling on the topic, on any topic, is good. It really forces people to evaluate their stances and learn to argue their positions better. And you're going to get to a point, if you're wrong, you're going to get to a point where no matter how well you argue your point, you're wrong, and you will see it eventually.
Yeah, and it starts conversations. You know, a lot of people just listen to their parents or whoever in the community is, and they don't think about something. And these things actually starts people like, hey, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, this kid figured out that his parents are wrong. But is this kid gonna have like a fever for 2 weeks if he's getting all the vaccines at the same time? Isn't he?
Yeah, he'll be okay. They'll probably space it out. You know, would anyone receiving their vaccinations? He'll have a schedule that his doctor will put him on. No matter what age you are, they'll do that. My son, when he was born, he had hydrocephalus, and his immune system was diminished. He spent in and out of the first 2 years of his life in a hospital, practically lived in a hospital for 2 years. So they wouldn't give him his immunizations. And anyone who came to visit, they warned us better have their immunizations, because if he gets anything, he could die. So when he got older and when he got stronger, when he got better, we had to put him on a schedule to get his vaccine. So any smart doctor, and I hope, you know, that he is going to a good doctor, will probably put him on a schedule so he's not, you know, crazy sick right away. But another thing that I found weird about this article, and something that I think a lot of cast aside atheists from their family will probably understand, is the mom started using manipulation tactics on this child. If you get those vaccinations, that is you saying, you don't care about me. And I can't tell you how many kids we've counseled through the support group whose parents have told them, if you don't love Allah, you don't love me. It is such a terrible manipulation to place on a child to try to control their actions, control their thoughts. It's if you're a parent, you know, and you see this, and you know, you can recognize these manipulation tactics, please don't ever carry them out on your children.
You're talking about the Atheist Republic support group, right? Which was something that you started that provided a lot of emotional support for people that were abandoned by their family.
And possibly the worst thing of all is that it gives people a warped perception on what love is and what they should expect out of love, and it normalizes manipulation to where they just think that that's love, and they cling to that, and it's awful.
Moose Gal in the live chat is saying, this teen is my hero. The top comment on Facebook is by Josh. He's saying, anyone else impressed he lived to be 18? That's funny. Peter is saying, illogical, ? Logical about putting chemicals into an organic body that already has its own pharmacy. Oh my God, Peter. I'm glad that the reason why you're one of the top comments is because the #1 reaction that you got was laughter. Right, that's okay. Jesus Christ, these people are insane. I don't even know how to, like, it's so much. Okay, so the organic body, I don't. So is this guy against everything that is not organic? This is so stupid. I don't know how to deal with it. Like, he's making the naturalistic fallacy. The body has its own pharmacy. So how is it that people without medicine, modern medicine, used to die so much earlier, and we had so much disease?
With diabetes or cancer. I mean, why aren't you tapping into your own personal pharmacy? How dare you?
Yeah, exactly. I would like to know which orifice you grow penicillin from.
I mean, it's so stupid. These people really are so ungrateful for all
birth control. Fuck birth control. Tap into your own natural pharmacy, lady.
Birth control. We just use rubber bands for 28 days out of the month. It's fine.
This is why I think that I know a lot of people in the Atheist Republic community might be like, what is this? What has this got to do with atheism, right? And again, what we say is that what Atheist Republic is meant to do originally was to provide the community for atheists, but the next secondary goal is for us to stand against bad ideas, but also promote good ones, right? And religious values are some of the worst values. On all other kinds of magical thinking is also ideas that we want to stand against, dogma, superstition. But we also want to, religion has managed to claim credit for a lot of things that they don't deserve credit for. And we want to go back and promote some certain ideas and certain things that humanity has done that has managed to save millions of lives. And we want to become the cheerleaders for these arguments, for these values, or for these practices. And the fact that people like Peter don't appreciate and are not grateful for modern medicine and everything that science has offered us is a huge failure that we need to reintroduce people to. So not only we want to take credit away from religion when they claim credit for things that they don't deserve credit for, we want to also give credit to ideas that do deserve credit and are responsible for making our lives a lot better. Like, a lot of these people have no idea where would they be and what kind of lives they would be living right now if it wasn't for modern medicine. But go on. Sorry.
I think we should go on to the next article.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you. Oh, shit. Okay. Jim.
Oh. Hang on. Okay. Killers slit student's throat and write he is gay in the victim's blood in terrifying homophobic murder at an Algerian university. Asil Belalta, a 21-year-old medical student, was found dead at his student residence at University City in Beniknoun, just outside Algiers, Algeria. His throat was slashed and the killers wrote "he's gay" in his blood across the wall of his dorm room. It has been reported as a homophobic killing by two attackers who then stole his car. Homosexuality has been illegal in the Islamic country since 1966 under Sharia law, which can lead to punishments of fines or up to 2 years in jail.
Holy shit. And this was like he was a medical student, right?
Yeah, he was a medical student.
And this was in a medical, university.
Yeah.
Yes, it was at the dorms at the university.
Fucking.
And this isn't some small. This is a widely known university.
And they slit his throat, so that means like he died a very painful and slow death.
Absolutely.
Oh fucking hell, poor guy.
Absolutely. And it's cases like this, and he was also, by the way, he was an activist for the LGBT community as well. On his Facebook page, he said that that he was interested in both men and women. So they actually think that he might have been bisexual. He couldn't be too open about it, obviously, because it was illegal where he lived to be himself. But for a lot of people who are like, I don't understand why you guys are even still talking about the LGBT community. You guys won. You can get married in a lot of countries around the world, blah, blah, blah. Because we still have to face people like this. We still have to face situations like this. And this is why it's important. He was an activist. He, an activist in a country where it was illegal to be who he was. Okay. He's, in trying to research this myself, I didn't see personally that anyone had actually been caught for this crime. So if anyone watching knows, if anyone's been even arrested yet, please let us know.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything either. As far as I know, that they say that there are 2 suspects, but they haven't released names or anything.
Is anything even going to happen to them? Are they going to be cheered and paraded for what they've done? I don't know. And it's
I would think not. I would hope not, just because they killed him, which extenuates which goes past even their own punishments.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know, but I'm sure that they would get off easily. I mean, with nothing but a slap on the wrist.
I'm not sure about that. I don't like. It's a fucking horrible country that has punishment for being gay. But I don't. Know? I don't think that if they capture.
No, but. Yeah. But I'm sure that the fact that he was gay would play into their sentencing.
No, don't be that sure. Like, for example, I'm from. I know, for example, from Iran, if you kill somebody because they're gay and you get captured for it, you might actually get executed for killing somebody, even though the government itself kills people for being gay. So you can't.
I think that would be an interesting thing to research, to look at and see how many cases where someone has specifically targeted and set out to kill in LGBT person. Because even America has problems with it, right? Even America, we have problems with transgender women, especially at a much higher rate than anyone else, being slaughtered in our country. And it's like there's no urgency. There's no urgency to find their killers. There's no urgency to punish them. So I think it's a problem. I do think it's a problem. I hope these.
But it's not equivalent. Like you're not suggesting that United States is like at all equivalent to the situation in Algeria, right?
Not at all. I'm just saying that even in countries such as the United States, there's an issue with delivering justice for people who harm and kill someone from the LGBT community.
Right.
There are issues, whether or not they're going to, withhold justice because he's gay. We don't know for sure. But just seeing the trend all over the world, in every country that has a problem with this, it wouldn't surprise me. It would upset me. It wouldn't surprise me.
The top comments on Facebook are pointing at the grammatical error of the statement with blood on the wall. Like
it says his gay,
HIS gay instead of HE''s. Yeah, but it's weird that's the like they killed somebody. They killed somebody and they draw in blood that he's gay on the wall. The main thing people are offended about is like, okay, this is grammatically not correct. Okay, that's weird. I don't know. That's I don't know.
Yeah, really glad to see where your concerns lie.
Right. Okay. So this one thing that I get. This guy is one reason why I get pissed when people tell me that we are being brave, because like people are like, oh, Armin, you're speaking against Islam. That is so brave. And I'm like, I live in Canada. What the fuck are you talking about? Right? I live in Canada. Look at and I do think that people like him, like we had no idea who this guy is until he died, right? But this guy was doing what we are doing on the front lines, like on a place where it mattered the most. Like this is what we are also trying to do at Atheist Republic, is to provide a platform for people like this to bring more attention to them. One thing I don't know, Ali, since you recently came back, one thing we're trying to do is Pamela is making short videos of a lot of people that are in trouble, atheist activists especially, that we need to highlight on our YouTube channel, and we have an entire playlist of short videos bringing attention to some people like this that we need attention. So that's a new thing we're doing. But these guys, these are the real brave people. So we are sitting here in a country where the law protects us to say almost whatever we want to say. And people like him that are doing in places where it matters the most with a lot greater personal risk to themselves than we are, and they're not getting nearly as enough attention as they deserve. But yeah. Anything we need to read on the YouTube live chat? Moose Gal is saying anyone guilty of a homosexual act is punishable with imprisonment of between 2 months and 2 years, and with a fine of 500 to 2,000 Algerian dinars. That's fucking crazy. All right, let me see here on Facebook. Should we go to the next news?
Yeah.
Okay.
West Virginia legislator, a Baptist pastor, says the LGBTQ.
Wait, Jim, you muted yourself. Yes, you muted yourself.
How did I do that?
Okay, now you're back now. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, start from scratch.
West Virginia legislator, a Baptist pastor, says the LGBTQ are a terrorist group. Eric Porterfield, a Republican West Virginia legislator, went on a rant against LGBTQ people when he was trying to explain an anti-gay slur he used during a committee meeting. When the Charleston Gazette Mail interviewed him, he said, quote, "The LGBTQ is a modern-day version of the Ku Klux Klan without wearing hoods with their antics of hate," end quote. He also called the gay community a, quote, terrorist group, and that he is being, quote, persecuted in retaliation for his remarks. Eric Porterfield can go, quote, fuck himself.
No, these people have such a loose definition of persecution. These people think that if you say something and we come out and say, yeah, that's fucking bullshit, they're like, oh, you're prosecuting me. Like, go fuck yourself. Like if you put ridiculous ideas out there, just be prepared to be ridiculed. But
let me do this way. If you have to tell everybody that you're persecuted, you're not persecuted.
Right. By the way, thank you so much. The user name 0132132 just did a 6.66 super chat. Thank you so much. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that.
So as far as Eric Porterfield goes, I would like to personally thank him for this rant that he gave targeting the
I was going to say the same thing, but can you give me a reason?
Everyone, Eric Porterfield, thank you. Thank you so much, because what you've done here is shined a light that needed to be shined so heavily upon serious issues that are still going on. And I really thank you for spewing this shit so that we can all sit around and talk about it and hopefully educate more people with it. So thank you for doing that.
That's such a great point, because okay, there's some problems on the left and some problems on the right. Like, for example, a lot of people on the left that do advocate for free speech, when we tell them that there are some people within your camp that are anti-free speech, they think we're exaggerating. And there are then some stories that come out that help us show how big of a problem this is. But also there are some people on the right that are supportive of LGBT, and they think it's exaggerated how insane some people in their camp are anti-LGBT. And I think thanks to these people like this, it gives us an opportunity to show that no, you guys have some serious wackos in your camp that you need to look at. So it does serve. Like, I mean, this guy, I don't think he's. I mean, we need to show that even in countries like United States, we still need there are still a lot of hate against this community, and people like him and statements like this help us make that point. You're right, Ali.
Well, it's fantastic.
He was asked by this talk show host what he would do if his kids were to come out as gay, his daughter and his son, and he said that he would see if they could swim. And she asked him to clarify, and he said that he would take his son hunting or fishing and see if he could swim.
Okay, that's okay. I'm a very pro free speech. I'm very I have a line when it comes to free speech, and the free speech I think is when you're actually advocating violence. I might be wrong about this, but I think he crossed the line there. Didn't he?
I don't think that he was advocating violence. To be fair here, I think what he was doing was trying to purposely rile people up and really get people upset, saying that if his own kids were gay,
he would drown them.
He would drown them, right?
Okay,
he would kill them. But that's not saying that That's not saying every parent who has a gay child go out and drown them.
But this guy's kids should be taken away from him. This is a person that says that there's a situation where he might drown his own kids.
Isn't this fantastic for his children too? Again, thank you, Eric Porterfield, because you have saved your children. If they were intelligent at all, you have saved your children the rest of their life of having to go to Christmas dinners with you and sit with you, knowing that if they were gay, or maybe, I mean, where do you draw the line? If they lose their limbs,
right,
and they can no longer walk or work for you, are you going to kill them then? His children are lucky. They got to see now who their dad is and where he draws the line with his quote-unquote unconditional love. So thank you, Eric Porterfield. Many children, again, we got to talk about this because it is disgusting, stupid rant here. Thank you so much, because the children in this country who come out as gay and get kicked out of their house by their families, even worse, beaten, murdered, because they act a little gay or queer or whatever, the parents are like this. Thank you for bringing this up.
Okay, but just to be clear, when Jim said you think he crossed the line, I was talking about the legal line, because I knew this guy had crossed the moral line a long time ago, right? Like, this is like this guy was way beyond the moral line. I understood that already. But I think that he also now crossed the legal line. I don't know if Ali, you might disagree, because Ali, I know she's also passionate about free speech and stuff, but I think this guy now is the government, he has crossed a line that I will support the government stepping in and be like, you cannot be the legal guardian of these children anymore. Like, your kids need to be forcefully taken away from you.
I think this guy is old. He's old, so I'm guessing his children are grown.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm saying, good for them, because if they listen to their father say this, they listen to their father say, "Hey, if you're gay, I'm gonna take you and try to." And actually, I don't even know if he has any kids. They said, "What if your son or daughter?" And so he gave a scenario for both. I don't even know if he has.
Okay, but if he had kids that were young enough that they had to stay with him, I think what he said would be legitimate case for people to come and remove his custody rights over his children. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That's probable cause for sure.
Ali, do you agree?
It's hard. It's hard. It's hard in America, and I want people to understand what it means to take a child away from their home. To take a child away from their home, you're putting them into a foster system that is so overcrowded and so underfunded that children in our foster system are being raped. They're being molested. They are being used in these foster families. Some foster families are amazing, and fucking thank you. But especially in the state of Texas, where gay people aren't even allowed to adopt foster children, we have this terrible issue with overcrowding. We have a terrible issue with it. So if no child should be subjected to a parent that would kill them for this reason. If his children were gay, I think they should be given the right to move out of his parents' house, be emancipated, and live with a friend who will take them in. I would take in any of my children's friends who are in this situation and treat it like that. But if he did have little kids and he made a comment saying, if they were gay, I might do this, I don't think that that's grounds to rip those children out of the house just yet and throw them into a foster system where their life could be made worse. Could be made better.
This is why we have you have such good nuance, add nuance to the conversation. Mars is saying, I think the limitation about free speech with respect to violence only applies if there's an immediate implication of violence. I could be wrong. That's a very interesting point. Okay. Dirty Dancer is saying this pastor's congregation should be tracked like those of Islamist propagandists. I don't know about that. That seems like guilt by association. There's the top comment on Facebook is by Bill Baker. He's saying he's from West Virginia. By the looks of him, his mommy and daddy are also his aunt and uncle. Oh my God. Kat is saying, oh, look at that. A talking can of ham. Okay, most of the comments are apparently about his appearance. Another one is by Jason.
That's not good. Attack the argument.
Yeah. I don't know. I was going to say something, but it would be
I
completely...
mean, I'm not saying that he's not goofy looking. I'm saying attack the argument.
Right, yeah. I mean, if this was a woman and she made some really stupid arguments and everybody started making fun of her looks, people are like, "Oh, there we go again, woman making fun of looks." I mean, he has enough stupid arguments for us to make fun of that
objectively wrong.
Yeah, to make fun of that, we don't need to go and make comments about his appearance. I mean, you can. I'm not saying you can. But it's just not helpful, I guess.
But if you're trying to make a point, you don't go with the subjective. You go with an objective argument if you have one.
Right. I mean, he's objectively ugly, but that's not his fault. But that's not his fault, so I don't know. Okay. So... Okay. All right, so let's go to the next comment. Next news.
Oh, okay. I don't regret it. British Islamic State schoolgirl wants to return to the United Kingdom for her baby. Shamima Begum, a pregnant British schoolgirl who joined the Islamic State in Syria, has revealed that she is going to give birth to her baby, having married a young Dutch Islamic State fighter 3 weeks after she arrived in Syria 4 years ago. She said that she did not regret fleeing the United Kingdom, but wants to come home so her baby can be looked after. She revealed that she had already given birth to 2 children previously, but they had died, so she is now, quote, overprotective of her unborn baby.
Okay, Jim is
worried about.
Wait, Jim, you're cutting in and out. Start from the beginning, because this is very important, and I really want to go over this in great detail. So we've got to be spending a little bit of time on this. So can you try again, but make sure, like, okay, if your connection is still not good after you try a second time, we're gonna get Ali to read it again. Okay,
sounds good.
All right, start from scratch.
Okay. Shamima Begum, a pregnant British schoolgirl who joined the Islamic State in Syria, has revealed that she is going to give birth to her baby, having married a young Dutch Islamic State fighter 3 weeks after she arrived in Syria 4 years ago. She said that she did not regret fleeing the UK, but wants to come home so her baby can be looked after. She revealed that she had already given birth to 2 children, but that they have died, so she is now overprotective of her unborn baby. Ben Wallace, the security minister, said that the public would be worried about people returning to a country that they, quote, apparently hate.
Okay, so this is going to get me hated from my opinions on this is going to make everybody abandon hope on me. So I'm going to let Ali take the first shot, and then I'm going to follow up on that. But there's a lot of passionate. I mean, I've been seeing this news circulate. So the main gist of it is that she joined ISIS. Now she's a UK citizen. I think she already lost 2 babies while she was in Syria. And now this is her 3rd baby, that she's pregnant with, and she doesn't want to lose this one, so she wants to come back to the UK because she knows that her baby will be taken care of in the UK, and she's not at all sorry that she joined ISIS, but she doesn't like ISIS anymore. And the reasons why she doesn't like ISIS is kind of problematic as well, because she had no problem with ISIS killing non-Muslims, but the reason why she doesn't like ISIS anymore was because the way they also treated Muslims. So even the part that she says that she doesn't like ISIS is not for good reasons. Like, she had no issues with ISIS killing non-Muslims, and she said specifically she saw beheaded heads in the bin when she was there, and she wasn't even fazed by it, right? And even now she wants back. She's like open about the fact that she doesn't. Okay, so the main arguments about, some people are defending her, saying that she was 15, she was a child, she was groomed into it. Some people are saying, well, fuck that. 15 is old enough. Some people are saying 15 is old enough to vote. Also, she's 19 now, apparently. Isn't she 19? And she's an adult, and as an adult, she still is showing no remorse or guilt. So fuck her. She shouldn't come back. Some people are saying she should come back because she's a UK citizen, and she was groomed. By the way, I think Jim is completely frozen. So Ali, you go. You go ahead.
Okay, I'm kind of torn on this one, actually,
Okay.
and that's simply due to the fact that she told the truth. How easy would it have been of her to say, you know, no, I don't agree with ISIS. I was brainwashed. I want to come home. I want to come home. And she could have lied about the whole situation, yet she didn't. And to me, that might be her way of saying, I need help. It might just be her way of saying, you know, yet this is how I feel. I know that I can't have a baby survive under these circumstances. I need to come home. I need to come home. I need to work through these issues. I need to have my child. On the other hand, if she is still a threat to the people, why bring her back? So I'm actually a bit torn on this one.
All right. So I mean, the thing is that again, I'm gonna lose everyone on this, so it's fine. You guys tell me why I'm wrong. She's a UK citizen, right? I mean, bring her back and arrest her? And okay, first of all, I'm not at all sympathetic to her in any way, right? She's 19, and she still thinks it was a good idea to join ISIS, right? But saying that she should be allowed back doesn't mean that. I mean, I am sympathetic to her in a way that everybody could be groomed at some point, but I don't think she deserves any excuses when it comes to the law. Like, she needs to come back and be put on trial, I think, and go to jail. But the thing is that you don't just go against the laws of your country in specific cases. You don't be like, okay, yeah, she's a UK citizen, but let's ignore it in this situation. Yeah, I mean, you are going to basically completely you set a precedent for how your law is applied based on a single case. You realize what are you doing to a series of laws that that United Kingdom has built on based on certain values that has been working for a long time. And again, this is a problem that I have with the right, and it's a very similar to a problem we have with the left, because a lot of people on the left, again, hashtag not all, a lot of people on the left say free speech, yes, but not for hate speech. And they're like, no, I mean, the whole point of free speech is to cover speech that we don't like. If free speech was only for speech that we liked, we wouldn't even need laws to protect free speech. Free speech should include hate speech. But then we have the same problem with the right when it comes to human rights. People are like, a lot of people on the right say human rights for all except the scum of the earth. And like, if we only had we don't even need to protect human rights if it wasn't for the worst of all people. Human rights doesn't mean that you don't get the consequences of your action. Human rights, but if you are a citizen of your country, and the country, a country as advanced as United Kingdom, which with all the complaints that we have for it, is still one of the most advanced countries in the world, which still to this day adopts Enlightenment values. And oh yes, sometimes they're going against free speech and stuff, but still, compared relatively, it's one of the top ones up there. You don't throw that away. Just the same way that a lot of people on the left are devaluing the importance of free speech and are trying to come up with exceptions, and kind of undermining the whole free speech that the Enlightenment values are based on. A lot of people on the right are coming up with exceptions where they're throwing away human rights, and by doing that, you're challenging the importance of free speech and human rights. And again, human rights doesn't mean that you don't go to jail for the actions that you did, but it does mean that the citizens of your country need to see their day in court. They need to be able to defend themselves. They need to be able to come back to the country. If you throw that away, you're opening a door to a hell that you don't want for a single case. And again, this is you want to basically completely ignore the laws of your country for not allowing a person in a country that has the same value as a lot of Muslims that are already in your fucking country. She needs to come back, and not only she needs to go to jail, she needs to be studied as a case for de-radicalization. She needs to be forced to, after she is de-radicalized, or if she's not successful, just keep her in jail. But if it is successful, she should be made an example of. She should go into mosques and tell people how ridiculous she was. She needs to go into communities and tell people that still have those views about starting a new caliphate, about how stupid she was and how stupid they are. I mean, she should be used as a propaganda tool against these ideologies.
I mean, if she comes to that conclusion on her own, if she can come to that conclusion on her own, that's great. But I don't think that she should be forced to do anything.
Oh yeah, she should be forced. She's a prisoner of. She should be treated as a prisoner of war. She should be. She should be led back, and go to prison as an enemy combatant.
And what are you doing for all of the girls who are already over there who are trying to come back?
What?
What are you doing for all the girls over there who are trying to come back?
Join ISIS?
Whenever they see that, it's going to drive people to stay away. It's going to drive people to not change.
Okay,
but what you're talking about is one person. So you get one person, you do one case study on one person. What benefit does that do you? That's a small sample size. That does you no good.
No. So, the people that don't want to come back, that's great. Stay the fuck out with your shitty ideas.
I agree.
Hold on. But what I'm saying, if you do want to come back and you are a citizen, you shouldn't be stopped. You should be allowed to come back and arrested right upon entry for joining in a terrorist group, right? And you should be studied like a lab rat for how did you become this fucking crazy, and there should be studies written about you, and you should be okay. So when I say forced, it means like I'm not saying like forced at gunpoint. By forced, I mean like you get, I don't know, I'm just making stuff up, 50 years in prison, but could be reduced to 30 if you participate in de-radicalization.
It's called community service.
Community service, yes. So forced in that way, not like, yeah.
I agree with that, but I believe that they should only be studied up to and no longer than the period of their sentencing.
What?
They should only be studied for the period of their sentencing, like of their imprisonment.
Right. I mean, I think she should just stay in jail unless it could be proven by psychologists or whatever that she doesn't have these views anymore. Like, even if after 30 years, if she still think like, I would still think it was a good idea, she should just stay there. Because the problem is that a lot of these ISIS members now, they don't have a caliphate anymore, but they're still they're looking more like Al-Qaeda, like your traditional terrorist group now, where they just want to so a lot of these people might come back with the goal of radicalizing the youth in the UK, and there's a lot of fertile ground for this in the UK, unfortunately, right now. So a lot of people don't let her back because this is what their plan is. I was like, well, no, let her back and use her to do the exact opposite. Don't let her in. Don't let her go freely and spread propaganda. Arrest her, imprison her, and use her as a way to, use her as a way to reach out to go tell people that they're idiots. I mean, to show that they lost, that they were humiliated, that ISIS had these plans and none of them came true. And think 20 times before you want to join a group like this that makes you promises. Like look at this one. She thought she was gonna die as a martyr, and now she's back alive and being ridiculed and humiliated, and just keep using her, humiliate her in public in mosques, go in radical mosques with the government officials and make her give a speech as a woman to the men's area. That would be awesome. Okay, yeah, just bring her to the top, put her on top of the member, and make her give a speech to all the radical mosques telling her why those mosques were preaching hate. But anyway, Ali, you should be more forceful. Like if you want to have something to say, just jump right in.
Yeah, I'm still I'm listening to all of this, and then I've got just so many other questions. What if she said all this stuff because she thought if she spoke poorly about IS that they would kill her? What if she's saying this stuff? It's just.
I don't buy that, because she wanted to be. Her idea was that her main surprise. One of her surprises was that her husband died and she didn't. Like I think her idea was that she's gonna die with her husband. So I don't think dying was a major deterrent. I think the main reason why she's back is because of her baby, and I think she just saw her other babies die. And she doesn't want to go. She doesn't want her babies to die anymore. And I think,
and she also lost her support system
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they would just make her remarry. I think that wasn't this like her second husband already?
I don't know. Was it? I don't know. But
yeah, but the thing is, aren't they mistreated more if they're like a secondary wife?
Of course.
I don't know. That's interesting.
It's just I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued because she told the truth. When it was knowing that the truth was not going to be the easiest route for her to take. I'm intrigued.
But you don't get. But she doesn't get brownie points for telling the truth when she actually she wasn't fazed by saying beheaded, like she was fully supportive of ISIS killing non-Muslims, and the only time that she thought that we were being oppressive when she saw that they were torturing Muslims. That was only when they crossed the line for her. So I don't think like her being truthful gets her much credit.
I'm just intrigued.
Yeah, intrigued.
That's all.
It's interesting. She should be studied.
So many people, and she just could have been like, they're abusing me. I was forced into this. Blah blah blah. She could have. But she told the truth, and that intrigues me. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't.
And a lot of people don't really understand that, this case is getting a lot of highlight because of the views that they have, and they think if you bring her back, she's going to basically become, like, influence. She's going to spread this ISIS ideas. But, I mean, that could, and I'm suggesting don't even let her loose. Use it for the exact opposite. But UK right now, there's a shit ton of people in UK, citizens of the UK, living in UK, that are very sympathetic to these kind of ideas. Like, you guys already have that problem. You need to find a way to fight back against it from within. It's interesting to me that those people that are already living there are getting way less attention than this one person that is trying to get back. Like, I'm not saying... Yeah,
could this be a form of taqiyya?
No, she's Sunni. She's not. Taqiyya, first of all, taqiyya is a Shia thing mostly. I mean, I know some Sunnis are copying it, but it's mostly a Shia thing. And also, it's supposed to be used... Yeah, it's
not just for rejecting the religion. You can reject parts of the religion and it still be taqiyya.
Most Muslims don't know much about taqiyya, and I think a lot of people on the right have exaggerated its influence. But it was originally intended to protect Shias against Sunnis. Shias living under Sunni regimes, being able to lie about their faith to stay alive. I don't. I mean,
it's to say that they were Sunni.
It's not as. I mean, Islam has a lot of ridiculous teachings and barbaric teachings. I don't see Taqiyya as one of them because it's basically our version of white lies. Like, it's basically saying, like, it's basically the same as us saying if you're an atheist living in an Islamic regime, if somebody asks you, are you an atheist, you just say no, obviously, so you don't die. So that's basically what Taqiyya is. I mean, I'm not endorsing Islam by saying this because Islam has a lot of barbaric teachings. I just do think a lot of people exaggerate Tariya.
But I mean, we see it with social media. You know, we see people coming into like the Atheist Republic groups and, you know, pretending to be atheists just to scout out people in their area. Wouldn't that be considered
I just think they're just being, you know, I don't think, not every, you know, they're just being them, you know, they're just being, I don't think every single Muslim goes and checks how Islam, I mean, again, I'm not discounting the influence of Islam in barbarism. It has a lot of influence in barbarism, and it does influence behavior, but it's not like every single Muslim goes and checks if what they're doing is in accordance, you know, if there's a hadith for trolling, for example. Like some of them do, but not all of them. Anyways.
I think we should move on to the next article.
Is it, but should we let me just quickly check the top comment, just one of them at least. Art is saying, I know that I cheat. No, I don't know. This is too much of a long comment. Lauren is saying there's a lot of young people who could benefit coming to Britain who didn't join ISIS. Okay, I already responded to that, so I'm not going to get into that. Beej is saying, Armin, have you noticed... oh, yeah, Bridges TV is here. I was on their show. Hi! If you guys... But if you said something... oh, Bridges TV is saying, no, Armin, Taqiyya is Islamic in general. The Shias are great at it. Okay, I did see some sources that saying that it was originally a Shia thing, Sunnis copied it, but I might be wrong about that. But it was mostly a Shia thing. Can we at least agree on that? It was mostly a Shia thing.
It was, because when they were being impressed by the Sunni, they would be asked by them, you know, are you Sunni or Shia? And they'd say Sunni, so they wouldn't die.
Yeah, so they wouldn't die. If the UK rejects her, where is she to go to? I think she will just stay in Syria. I'm not sure. Okay, so we don't know that detail, but that's fine. We should, as Ali said, we should go to the next news. I did expect that one to get a lot of our time, because it was something that a lot of people are talking about. So
okay, next one.
Okay.
4 in 5 Vatican priests are gay, book claims. According to a 570-page book to be published next week, some of the most senior clerics in the Roman Catholic Church who have attacked homosexuality are themselves gay. The book, called In the Closet of the Vatican, claimed that 80% of priests working at the Vatican are gay, although not necessarily sexually active. French journalist and author Frédéric Martel spent 4 years researching for this book, and according to its British publisher, Bloomsbury, it is a startling account of corruption and hypocrisy at the heart of the Vatican.
Wait, this is a book or a study? Or is it a peer-reviewed study, or is it just somebody writing something in a book?
Not peer-reviewed. It is somebody authoring a book.
That seems like just stuff pulling out of your ass, isn't it? Go, Ali, go on.
Could it be? Yeah. I mean, that's why I really wanted to discuss this on the news this week. I posted it thanks to Dutch Skeptic, who brought it to my attention. And so reading that, so I don't really know who this French journalist is, Frédéric Martel, but I am curious about the research. So I want to read this book. Like I'm hoping that I can get this right when it comes out. If it's not already out, I'll tonight. But I really want to read it. I want to see, did he interview these priests? Because
yes, he did.
80%. Was it everyone that he interviewed? Did he name names? Like, I want to know this.
Yes,
stuff so
he did.
Bad.
From what I saw, he interviewed almost 2,000 church officials. We're talking bishops, cardinals,
over the course
priests.
of 4 years. I hope he did. Yeah, every single.
And was it randomly selected group of people? Was it, all the stuff that needs double blind, all this? I don't know, all the stuff.
Well, that's again that would be for a peer review study. I think that he would have to go through all that, but just to write
right.
it.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, guys, Jim, you need to start. We guys, Skype really cuts people both of your audio when you speak on top of each other, so be careful with that. But go on.
I'm sorry, it fades in and out.
Okay, Ali, finish your thought.
Oh, so I understand that this might not be a peer-reviewed study, but I am very curious to see exactly what was asked, and to make the claim that they are homosexual. I would feel that these priests would need to identify as such. Did he ask these priests, things like, have you ever found a man attractive? And is he calling that? Is this Frederick Martel calling that homosexual? Because in my opinion, it wouldn't be. So I'm dying to read this book. I want to see what people have said. I want to see what was asked of them, and I'm just excited to read it, to be honest.
Yeah, just like if every woman that finds it, like if says like, oh, you look very sexy today, that doesn't mean they're a lesbian, right? So just because you could acknowledge that, like, I don't know, does it? Like, as you said, like if somebody, the questions, the way the questions are phrased are very important when it comes to any study like this. And again, that's why it makes me worried that if it's just in a book and it's not like a good study, people might give it too much credit. And I'm not saying, I'm not dismissing it though. I'm also just being skeptical. But go on, sorry, Ellie.
Right. What I'm excited about though is the fact that he put this out there. People will follow with research, scientific research and absolute studies. You can guarantee that. This is such an interesting topic to have someone come out and make this accusation. You're going to see people who are going to go into this with a bad research method of wanting to prove it wrong, and the poor research method of wanting to prove it right. But then you're going to see people who are going to this being like, whoa, like complete frame of mind here. We're gonna detail exactly what homosexuality is. We're going to ask outright. We're going to do this stuff. And I think that it'll be interesting to see what the reviews after this book bring out.
Right, but then again, we're not talking about somebody who's just responding to sensationalism. This guy is no average Joe. We're talking about somebody who has a PhD in social science, several graduate degrees in philosophy,
that's
in law.
Argument from authority. This is why we have peer review.
No, it's not. It's not. No, how is that arguments from authority?
Because this is why we have peer-reviewed academic research.
All I'm saying is that he is an educated person. That's all that I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, so we shouldn't dismiss it because a person.
Of course.
Yeah. So, but
we shouldn't discount it either.
Well, I mean, you should be skeptical, though, right? This is
absolutely.
Yeah. So
I haven't even read the book yet.
Yeah, what's the name of? Somebody is asking, what's the name of the book? What's the name of the book?
It's called "In the Closet of the Vatican."
In the Closet of the Vatican. Okay, so 4 out of 5. That seems. I mean,
he's written other theses that are actually published, like published theses. So I mean, he has published.
Under peer reviewed.
Yes, okay. They are peer reviewed.
So yeah, but we're
talking about philosophy though. We're not talking about like.
So that doesn't matter. But so this, but
of course it matters because we know that somebody who respects the scientific method.
Philosophy doesn't respect the scientific method. But anyways, I'm gonna go to this guy. I'm just saying this shouldn't be believed or dismissed until is peer reviewed or something like that. But 4 out of 5 seems fucking crazy. How would that even happen? Like, what's the average gay population in a
I'll tell you exactly how it happened.
What? How?
I'll tell you exactly how it happened.
Tell me.
If this claim is true, if it's true, I'm not saying that it is, but throughout history, people have tried to hide being a homosexual. Throughout history, people have hated themselves and mourned their lives for the fact that they couldn't be who they wanted to be. And they were driven into becoming nuns and becoming priests. And it's just, this has been throughout history because that is the one place they're safe. That's the one place where no one's going to ask them, why aren't you married? Why don't you have kids?
Why do you live with men?
Right. It's the one place where they can get to, in just a pinch of a bit, be themselves.
Just a reminder again, don't talk over each other because Skype will completely cut out both of your audios when you do that. Okay, so you're saying it's a great, like, is it out of guilt or out of?
Oh, absolutely, and it almost, I mean, take it from someone who's been in the closet. It's easier to be around people and things that agree with how you feel about yourself, right? It's much easier if you think homosexuality is bad and you are a homosexual. It is much easier to go into a place where you can say homosexuality is bad. See, look, I'm not a homosexual because I'm not actively sleeping with someone of the same sex. Now, it's almost a comfort When you've grown up in a place where homosexuality is bad, you're evil if you're gay, you're evil, you're evil, you're evil. And then you get to go to this place where you get to preach that out to other people, and you get to be a little bit more superior at this point because look at you, you're not gay. It's easy. It's easy and it's comforting almost. And I know that sounds sick, and I know a lot of people won't understand what I'm talking about there, but it's true. And so I think that if this is true, if this statistic is real, it's not shocking.
Okay, so well, I'm shocked though. So there you go. I'm actually shocked by the people that are saying this is not shocking. So I'm not saying it's not true, but I think if it's true, it's shocking. Maybe I'm ignorant. Monica is saying then the remaining 20% must be working overtime to abuse so many nuns. Okay, so Monica is suggesting, given how I don't know if you know about this, Ali, there's a lot of sexual abuse of nuns going on. So Monica is saying if only 20% of them are responsible for abusing nuns, that they must be working overtime.
We're talking about the Vatican here, though. We're not talking about priests around the world. We're talking about priests that are working and live at the Vatican.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for clarifying that, Ali. So Sopan is saying, would you consider doing some episodes? Oh, Sopan, don't ask us this. We'll talk about the news specifically. Oh, you're saying, would you consider... Actually, it is relevant. So, do you accept episodes on the LGBTQ community, not really about atheism? We already did that. We had 2 transgender episodes, Sopan. But we'll do more. We're planning on having a scientist on at some point. Moose Gal is saying, from RT... Martel's claims come after he spent 4 years interviewing over 1,500 people, including 200 priests, 41 cardinals, and 52 bishops, diplomatic officials, guards, and others. Wow. But that doesn't impress me yet, because a lot of studies with big numbers have done... There are examples of a lot of studies with huge numbers that were done poorly, with bad questions, non-random selection methods, and also a lot of a lot of other methods that people use within studies to remove bias or remove.
Sure.
Hold on. Can you let me finish?
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
And also to remove both bias and also remove systematic errors. And I'm not saying that this study was not good. I'm just saying the numbers alone does not make a study a good study. Big numbers does make a study more credible, but it's not enough. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, the variables in a study like this would not be the same as the variables in a study like in a lab. You're not talking about observing something. You're talking about somebody giving you their personal word, and I just don't see how you can twist somebody's words into saying that they're homosexual.
Okay, this is why you need to study up on how proper studies are done. Proper studies are not, I'm not talking about lab experiments, okay? Even when it comes to statistics and collections of opinions, there are proper methods of doing this. And okay, so it doesn't have to be in a lab for you to follow proper methods. And I'm not saying this guy didn't follow proper methods. I'm just saying don't agree with a study or a book unless you know it was done right. And
I haven't even read it. I mean, it hasn't even been released. I'm just saying that he does have a PhD in social sciences, and he does tell us.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, I see your point. Okay, but because he has authority, that means it can't be as easily dismissed. Would you agree with that? Is that good?
No, that is not what appeal to authority means.
No. You didn't listen to what I'm saying. I'm just saying an authority doesn't mean that something is credible, but given that it comes from authority means that you have to take it somewhat seriously before you could dismiss it. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. It does make it more credible.
Yeah, it means that it's not as okay. It means that you have to be skeptical about completely dismissing it. That's all I'm saying, right? So that's not a anyways, let's go to the next one. Right.
Judge changes law to give man who killed 6 Muslim men more guaranteed prison time. Alexandre Bissonnette, the man who opened fire on a group of Muslim worshippers in Quebec City, killed 6, will serve a life sentence and will not be eligible for parole for 40 years. The Quebec Superior Court Justice Francois Huot told a courtroom that Alexander was driven by a visceral hatred of Muslims. The judge did not consider the killings an act of terrorism, and in his reading of the decision did not specify why. The judge also stated that when speaking to a psychiatrist after the killings, Bissonnette said that he regretted not killing more people.
Okay, wait. So he said it's not an act of terror, but he changed the law so he could give him more punishment?
I mean, yeah, I don't, but I mean, I see this as being honest. I see the judge being, I mean, it does seem like a racial thing, but at the same time, you do have to look at it from a religious aspect. I mean, it's really hard to distinguish something, especially when people hate somebody, and it's really hard to distinguish which part of them they hate more or what their motives are.
Okay, so, well, I mean, this guy makes it very clear what his motives are. I mean, there's not... But, okay, so just one thing you didn't mention is that this guy, this is in Canada, right? This was... Okay, why is he wearing a... Okay, he's wearing a MAGA hat, so it confuses people a little bit, because this has nothing... This guy is not in the U.S. This was in Quebec, Canada. But... Can judges do that? The title says judge changes law. I didn't know judges can change laws. I mean, I'm from Canada, and I didn't know judges here can do this. Can you actually change the law? How do you do that?
No, I mean, I don't think that you should be able to. I mean, but
yeah.
Then again, I'm not at all familiar with Canadian law.
Somebody from... Do we have anybody... I mean, I should know this. I don't know. Somebody tell us that in Canada, can you actually just... I mean, I'm not in favor of changing the law, but I mean, I don't know if maybe I am. But do you guys think that you should be able to change the law like this based on specific cases? Isn't that a bit dangerous? If you open that door because of specific cases to completely change the law based on that, or I mean, I guess we do have examples of that. But is that a good idea?
So in America, we've got hate crime punishments, which say that like someone went out and murdered someone else specifically for the color of their skin, and they hated them for it, right? They targeted them specifically coming from a place of hate. Not only would they be charged for the murder of that person, but on top of that, they would get a hate crime sentence as well, which would extend their time or make their punishment worse, right? But in this case, I don't think at all that it's appropriate for a single judge to change the law based on this one case. What he should have done is seen this case by the law that was in place right then. He should have made his judgment, and then through whatever he needed to do, take the steps to implement new law for future cases. Yeah. And I mean, I'm glad this guy is getting a severe punishment for specifically setting out to kill people he hated. I think that's a terrible thing that this guy did. But I just, in my opinion, he should have gotten his harshest sentence that he could do with what the law had at hand then. And
before he commit, when he commit, you should always trial people based on the laws at the time that they committed something, not the laws that. I mean, a lot of people are going to think like we're defending this monster, But the thing is, when it comes to protecting your laws and protecting freedom of speech and protecting human rights and stuff, is you need to protect them when monsters like this makes it very difficult to challenge them, right? This is when there are systems that have proven to work, there are monsters that try to come and challenge the entire system. And you shouldn't change the entire system based on specific cases. If you set a precedent that you could be charged for crimes you could be punished for in a way that the law didn't allow at the time that you did a crime, then you're opening it. I don't know. That sets a precedent to a very dangerous world, I think. Even if this guy deserves every single everything that is coming after him. I don't know if I'm comfortable living in a world.
Well,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean, this kid though. I at 17, you know, that was probably me. To be completely honest with you, that was probably me.
You what? You wanted to go shoot people?
No, I was vitriolic. I hated Muslims. I was racist.
Not this much?
Yeah.
Like you wanted to go shoot people, Jim? You didn't want to go.
No,
okay.
I didn't want to shoot people.
Okay, so this is different.
Let me be clear there. But I just want to say that you know.
Did you say racist or bigot?
There are so many dangers out there because as a 17-year-old, I cannot imagine the additional influence because I didn't have people like Alex Jones and Richard Spencer and all these other vitriolic right-wing people who are spreading these awful ideas. So I can't imagine what the additional influence of outside people spreading propaganda would do to somebody with such an influential young mind.
Can I just say something really quick? You said you hated Muslims. I was racist. Different things.
Yes.
I just
wanna
absolutely. So you were prejudiced against Muslims. You were not racist.
Bigoted.
No. I was racist in addition to being prejudiced.
Okay. Yeah. But the hating of Muslims, that is prejudice. Yeah. So if you were on top of that also racist for other things, I understand. But I just wanted to don't want to bid Affleck here.
No. There was a comma there. It was an addendum.
How was the law changed exactly? Do we know? Like, what was the change about the law?
It was brought back to another law.
I mean, isn't there already the maximum punishment for somebody that goes and shoots a whole bunch of people? Like, how do you need to change the law? Like, don't we already? If somebody goes and kills 6 people, regardless, I mean, I don't even know if hate crimes should get more punishment. Then, let's challenge that idea. I don't know if I agree with this. I mean, if you go and shoot 6 people, you should get the maximum penalty that is out there, regardless of your motivation. Shouldn't there be the max? Like, I don't understand why does it matter? Yeah.
So here's where we need an additional law when it comes to people of hatred, right? Is because it's not just about murder. This case specifically in our news that we're reporting on today is. But let's say this guy just went out and beat up a Muslim, for instance, right? Because he was prejudiced against him. It was specifically targeted due to hate. He hated this person for what they believed, so he went out and beat him up, but he didn't die. So what is the harshest punishment you can give to somebody who is hateful? I don't know in every country. I don't know. But let's say he gets that. He gets the harshest punishment. Well, that's not going to put him away for life. It's probably not going to put him away for, 2 years. And then what? He goes into prison. He becomes worse and gets out with even more hatred and nastiness in his heart against people. So adding that additional hate crime clause puts these people away longer until maybe they've kind of subdued.
Right. In the live chat says that the law was changed before by Harper, or I'm sorry, the law that was changed before by Harper, and Harper had some law that gave discounted sentences for mass killings, and the judge did not apply it in this case.
So Harper just was the previous prime minister here in Canada. So that was they can't do that? That's weird.
The Superior Court Justice.
Okay, so this judge basically, it was already changed once, and this judge basically didn't use that change, which is weird.
So I don't get Harper's thing though. Like, is he saying that is that like a buy 10 get 2 free thing?
I have no idea. I don't that would be so off tangent. But going back to hate crimes, so Ali, I think you just changed my mind though. Jim, let me know what you think, because I always think like if I come and kill person X, or punch person X in the mouth, whether or not I did it because person X was purple or not, the harm was the same amount. I caused the same amount of harm. So the punishment should be the same. But I see the point when it comes to trying to fix this for society. If the intention is not that you deserve more punishment, it's not that. It's that you need more fixing, maybe, right? So
you need more time out of society.
Yeah.
Because you're a bigger danger to society.
Well, yeah, I mean, if the goal is not more revenge, right? Because not out of a feeling of sense of justice that, oh, your crime is more disgusting because is because of racism. I mean, punching people in the face is punching people in the face, right? But I agree. No, I'm agreeing with Ali that I see why there's a difference, not because of the fairness element, but because of the fixing society element, right? Like, if I punch you in the face because you owe me money, that's not something that, I mean, I guess if I have a hate for purple people, that's something that might need to be fixed before you could let me back into society, right?
Right.
That's something that might require some more healing, or I don't know what it is. But that argument I will buy. I think I might be wrong about this. Jim, sorry, you go.
I don't know. I kind of think that that's a little bit. I don't know. So summarize your thoughts on that again real quick.
So let's say you punch me in the face, for example, because I said something like about your wife that you didn't like, right?
Sure.
And you go to jail for punching somebody in the face, right? And then you come back and you paid for the price for your crime. But if you have a general hatred for people that have black hair, for example, and that's like so deep within you, then maybe once we arrest you, you need to go also through a process of de-radicalization or something.
Yes.
Before you're a menace to society again, before we set you free, right? So it's not because we think you deserve more punishment, right? Because the harm is the same. It's more for the sake of the society rather than giving you more punishment. You know
it's more justice than punishment.
Right. Well, I mean, and what you're doing is, I mean, if somebody just punches you in the face because they're having a bad day or whatever, that person did not wake up thinking about somebody that looked like you wanting to punch you in the face.
Right. Right. Exactly. So there's something more deep rooted in there. If it's that might require extra time fixing. But I question whether our prison system is actually spending time fixing these things, or is just putting. Yeah.
I think that if you are perpetuating the propaganda, then I believe that's an additional sentence.
Well, I mean, that would be a separate extra crime, though.
Sure.
I agree with that. No, but I do question. I question myself again, because I think people just get locked up and then they set free. It's not like they're actually going through therapy or so I would agree with all of this if it's some work being done while they're in there. I don't know. Okay, Jason is saying this is Trump's America. Xenophobia, racism, division. That's very funny, Jason, that you said that, because this was in Canada.
This is Trump's Canada. build that wall.
So this actually shows another division. You tried to point one division, but you without wanting to, are pointing out another form of division, which is blaming everything on Trump and Trump supporters, which is another form of division that you are responsible for, Jason. You and people like you. Again, I don't like Trump, and I don't understand people that support Trump. But I also think that it's ridiculous the way that people treat supporters of Trump. You don't treat people like just the same way we disagree with Muslims and Christians, but we don't treat them like shit just because we disagree with them. We also have a lot of people in the Atheist Republic community that are Trump supporters. But I think all of us here, we don't support Trump, and we disagree with people that support Trump, but we don't want to treat them like shit just because we disagree with them.
And I mean, I made the point that I made before, just because I don't want to discount anybody. I don't want to throw babies out with the bathwater, because I think that people are beyond saving, because I mean, in a period of less than 10 years, I went from radical right to sensible left. I mean, so it can happen, and it has happened.
Yeah, I mean, even if they don't change, we disagree. Okay.
Yeah.
People disagree. Okay, that's fine. We should go to the next news, unless you guys, Ali, do you want to add anything? Oh,
Nope.
wait. Do we read everything in the live chat? YouTube Muska saying Beach explains this. Oh, we did read Beach comments. Beach also added the law that was changed before by. Okay, we read that already. I think she said it again, so we don't have to scroll up. Beach is nice like that. But I think we might have to go to the next. Sorry if we missed your comment. Well, okay, go on.
As measles outbreaks grow, the West Virginia GOP moves to increase religious exemptions for vaccines. The West Virginia Senate has introduced a bill that would increase exemptions for religious and personal reasons, along with the standard exemptions that are provided for people with medical reasons. The lead sponsor of the bill, Senator Mark Maynard, believes vaccines are linked to autism. His bill only seeks to make religious and ideological exemptions more available. He says, quote, with religious and conscientious concerns, not only with the increase of autism that is thought to be linked to vaccination, but the fact that embryos that are derived from abortions that are using these vaccinations should be enough reasons for the parents to exempt their child.
Okay, this guy needs to lose his fucking job.
He is grossly misinformed, and he's disinforming his constituents.
Fucking hell. Like, this should be beyond just be like, this should be something that you lose your job for. Like, there needs to be a fucking law about this. I mean, if somebody went and said that, hey, this is snake oil, like this cures your disease, and we know it's a lie, wouldn't they just like automatically lose the job for spreading misinformation that causes harm?
Right.
Like, shouldn't these people like
that whole?
Yeah.
I was gonna say this that whole Jenny McCarthy movement.
No, but this shouldn't be. This should go beyond us pointing out that they're wrong. This should be enough for the government to step in and be like, "Sorry, you're not a politician anymore." What's West Virginia GOP?
I mean, he is. He's a senator.
So he's a senator, but he should lose his job for saying something like this. I think. Is that too much?
Well, I don't. Yeah. I don't think you should lose your job, but I think that it should be pointed out that he's giving that he's doing this for religious reasons. He's giving religious exemptions to something that is demonstrably harmful to the rest of society.
Just to be clear to people, what's happening here is there's some exemptions for people to say that they can still go to school, to public school, even though they haven't vaccinated their children. Some of them are legit. There's some kids that can't get vaccinations, right? But they depend on other kids that are vaccinated, herd immunity and all that stuff, for the kids that can't get vaccinated to be protected. And these fucking idiots are removing that herd immunity by offering stuff like religious exemptions. Again, these kids need to stay home. If you're not vaccinating your children for religious reasons, your kids need to stay fucking home. You should not be able. I mean, if peanuts can't go to public schools, then kids that are not vaccinated should not be able to go to public schools either. Like if the excuse is religious exemptions. But I do think that we should go beyond pointing out that this senator is wrong. I do think that it should be law that if you're spreading disease, then you can't be a senator. If you're spreading disease, you can't be a senator. Is that too much to ask for? Ali, what do you think?
Well, but I mean, you have all these senators who are denying things like climate change and stuff like that. I mean, that needs to get addressed as well. I mean, I think if we're going to address things like this, we need to address bills that fight against things that are scientifically true.
Okay, Ali.
What I find really hard about this is, you said that this guy should lose his job. The way he could lose his job is if the people of West Virginia pulled together and said no more, right? And they put him out of office. Simple. But the problem is the majority of West Virginia put this guy in office, and they probably agree with everything he says. Yeah. So at what point do they realize that by them doing this, by going year after year after year without vaccinating more and more and more children, when is that going to be a threat to neighboring states? I mean, we look at the problem in the Philippines right now, and the problem with the Philippines is parents are afraid. Parents who believe in vaccinations are afraid of getting their children vaccinated because they're told if anything happens to your child, our hospitals are overfilled with children who have preventable diseases. But it was spread. Duarte spread an anti-vax. Yeah, I'm not even going to try. You know what I'm talking about. Spread an anti-vaccination message, and people bought it, and it's becoming a problem.
Okay, but I don't think that we can wait for West Virginians. I mean, when it comes to protecting children from disease, I don't think we can wait for these religious nut jobs to wisen up. I do think that you go on.
I completely agree with you. We can't wait, because this is becoming a crisis that will not only take over West Virginia, but it'll leak out, and it's sad. It's really sad.
I mean, what we can do is we can advocate for stopping things like this on a federal level, so that way things like this can't be introduced on a smaller, more local scale.
And I think you should, on a federal level, there needs to be a law that any politician, mayor, governor, senator, anybody that spreads this kind of bullshit, they have the right to the free speech, but they don't have the right to keep their job. They can go find other jobs. They can't. They have the responsibility to take care of their people, of their state, and they have failed that responsibility. And their opinions of the people of that state should not matter anymore, because science have already spoken. And science is not a democratic matter. Science doesn't care about if the scientific community has determined that this is not good for the people of your country, or for a state, or for a city, then this is not up for vote anymore. And you are harming your people, and you need to get the fuck out. I think. Again, I'm very much for limited government, and a lot of people get the different impression the more I speak. But I think saying I'm for limited government, it doesn't mean that I'm for no government. Government has a role to play. Theo Mackie saying the U.S. Constitution mentions promoting the progress of science and not establishing a state religion. This is a threat to the U.S., both politically and medically. Oh, actually, can you get the Freedom from Religion Foundation involved in this? Because they're making religious arguments for not getting vaccinated. So no, why not?
No, because while government is not allowed to promote one specific religion, lawmakers get away with using their own religion to influence laws by not excluding others. So they say, I'm not advocating specifically for this religion. I have my own beliefs, and that's what I'm advocating here. I wouldn't mind if anyone else here with any other religion came up and advocated for their beliefs too. So they've been getting, especially in the state of Texas, they have been getting around using their religion. I mean, there was a lawmaker in the state of Texas who proposed making divorce illegal. Divorce illegal.
Okay.
Are you serious? Based on his fucking religion. And so they get around it. There's nothing we can really do. Now, when they start spending money on specific religious events, like the state of North Carolina, you and I reported on this one time, the state of North Carolina passed a budget bill to give a grant, a $250,000 grant every year to a religious foundation. That was them advocating for a specific religion and using government funds to do so. And so in that kind of a case, they can get involved.
Interesting. This is so great to have Ali back. We get so much interesting information. Moose is saying the U.S. should have a federal law that states all laws should be based on proper science and empirical proof. Thoughts? I agree with you, Moose. Cheryl on Facebook posted saying religious institutions have enough exemptions. Plus, this isn't a religious matter. It's a public health matter. Anyone who won't vaccinate their kids should have to choose vaccinations or move to an isolated community of unvaccinated people. I agree with you, Cheryl, except those minority kids that doctors determine that they can't get vaccinated. And it's actually for the sake of those kids that everybody else should get vaccinated, right? Though the parents of children that wanted to get their kids vaccinated and was determined that they can't get their kids vaccinated, they hate these anti-vaxxers the most, because their kids are at the greatest risk because of this whole anti-vax movement.
Yeah, and they're often sick with a weakened immune system in the first place, and so these kids don't just get sick; these kids die.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so should we go to anything else you guys wanted to add before we go to?
No,
I was looking in the live chat. I didn't. Oh wait. Theo Mackey says the scientific consensus on vaccines may not be too swaying, especially since scientists agree that climate change is a problem, and the Republicans refuse to do anything on that. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah, but the thing is that, Theo Mackey, like just like we have in the Constitution that there are some things that doesn't matter if Republicans or Democrats or whoever disagrees with, it's not up for question anymore. Like slavery is not up for question. Equal rights for everybody is not a question anymore. There are some things within the Constitution that it doesn't matter if majority agrees with it or not. And I think we should also have something about things that the scientific community almost unanimously agrees on when it comes to
consensus.
So when there's a scientific consensus when it comes to health issues, I think that should also be in the and it would be good if we had something in like that in the Constitution that's it's not up for debate. I mean, it is up for debate, but it's not up for policy debate on policy.
The great thing about using science as legislature is that it is both rigid and flexible at the same time. It is rigid within its parameters, and when something else is discovered, then you expand your framework.
Jack is saying, I agree with the with federal law to stop non-medical exemptions at state level, but firing no. It causes an or rebellion that they dig deeper and hide better. I don't. Okay, I agree with you usually, Jack, but this is not. But this is not like we're taking away their power of speech. I mean, they could go and get another job and write books and stuff about their shitty ideas. I just think that when you have a job and you're the title that your job is to protect people and you're not protecting people, then it's fair for you to lose your job, right? So
yeah, and he's in a position of influence here. He's not like owning a boat shop or anything. Like this guy has influence over legislature for future generations, not just for while he's in office.
Right. Okay, we should go to the next news.
Okay, last news. Tamil Nadu. Activists found brutally murdered hours after he stopped Muslims from converting Hindus. 42-year-old Ramalingam was assaulted in Kumbakonam in Thanjavur district on his way back home by a group of unidentified people, and his hands were chopped off. Ramalingam died on the way to the hospital due to excessive bleeding. He was brutally murdered by a group of people belonging to a minority community known for opposing religious conversation. It is suspected that the murder is linked to an argument Ramalingam had with few Muslim men earlier in the day. A group of Muslim preachers had gone to an area with a large number of Dalit inhabitants and started preaching about Islam. Ramalingam confronted the men opposing the same, and the preachers retaliated, and he said, quote, "Hindus are never anti-Muslims. We worship our God, you worship your Allah."
This was in India?
Yes, correct. In the Thanjavur district.
So the minority group that you mentioned it's a Muslim minority group?
Yes, that's the suspected one. They suspect it's a group of Muslim preachers.
So I mean, Occam's razor suggests that this was an attack by Muslims against a Hindu guy, right? Basically,
yes.
Yeah. And again, just we might like if news report comes out that we're wrong, we'll accept that we're wrong. This is just based on probability wise. This is what it's looking like. That some Muslims took revenge of this Hindu guy just because he tried to stop Muslims from converting Hindus to Islam. That's what this looks like, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Again, we're nothing. This is not 100% sure. So if the news comes out that this is wrong, don't be like you guys were made wrong assumptions. There's some level of we're trying to be skeptical, but this is what the most likely scenario here.
Well, we know that these people were from this group that killed him. We just don't know who in the group killed him.
Right. Which is fucking like the method of him trying to stop them was basically just telling them to stop. Like he didn't do anything. He wasn't violent or anything, right?
Right. It was just being very peaceful, just trying to be what do they call it? What's that word? Muslims tolerant. That's what he was being, tolerant.
Okay. Oh, okay. Jim trying to be funny. But
no, I'm not being funny at all.
Okay,
I'm being very
It's
serious.
being serious. Yeah, no.
Okay. But okay, so this is these groups, they don't like discussions, but they were having the group that did the hand chopping was different from the group that was having the conversations, trying to convert Hindus. So
right. So they were converting, and then they got mad because somebody told them, "Hey, don't talk about that." And they said, "Well, you don't tell us not to talk about religion to people, because don't talk to religion to me, because I talk to religion to him."
They cut off his hand for doing exactly what they were doing. Like,
well, and here's the thing. Yeah, like I think that these people had every right to sit there and talk to anyone who wanted to listen to them about conversion. Okay, right. They had every right to. They didn't have the right to take someone's hands for trying to stop them. But I mean, I think it's terrible.
This is gonna cause. I think this might actually lead into a revenge attack, don't you think? Like this, I mean, the Hindu extremists in India is also a big thing, and this. Do you think this is going to cause a retaliation against the Muslim community over there?
I honestly don't know. I mean, the guy seemed to be trying to be really, really peaceful. I mean, he even walked up to the guy and he was talking to him, and the guy, I guess, allowed him to perform this Hindu rite called vibhuti, and it's like where they get ash and they do a mark on your forehead, and he did that to him and allowed him to do that, and he wore the one of the Muslim guys' skull cap, and so they were exchanging cultural iconography, but then for some reason I guess that wasn't acceptable.
Rakesh, I think from India. I'm gonna profile this guy and say he's from India. Let me see, make sure. Actually, is Sobhan still in the live chat? He's going to have a lot of good... if Sobhan is still around, he's going to have a lot of good comments on this. Rakesh is saying, I never understand how the leftists can be bedfellows with Islamists. Okay, this has very little to do with news. Charlotte saying, just think how peaceful a world without religion would be. I don't know how peaceful it would be. I know it would be more peaceful, but I don't think it would be 100% peaceful. Like, let's not make the claim that a world without religion is going to be without problems. I'm pretty sure there will still be wars and hate, but I think it's safe to make the claim that it will have less war, less hate, and less crimes, but not without hate, not without crimes, not without war. A lot of atheists try to blame all the world's problems on religion. You know, I do think religion is a force for evil and a force for it makes everything worse, but it's not the only source of evil.
And it's a poor argument too.
Yeah. This news is ignored by Indian media because it doesn't support Indian leftist agenda. Really, is it ignored in India? Isn't this an Indian source?
I believe so.
Yeah, the person saying this news was ignored in India, but this is an Indian source that we're using.
Well, but then again, I mean, just like we have, various United States sources. I mean, I'm sure they have a bunch of, fringe of Indian sources that aren't mainstream.
Oh, Sapan is in the live chat, but let me first read Theomaki's comment. Theomaki is saying, is there any precedence for killing anyone opposed to conversion in Islam? Well, I mean, if you want to be going back to the very core of it, Sahih Bukhari and stuff, you should be able to kill Muslims whether or not they're trying to stop you from converting people or not, because they're not Ahlul Kitab, they're not the people of the book. So Hindus are fair game in Islam to kill even before they do anything. But most Muslims don't study Islam, so most Muslims don't even know that. Sobhan is saying, from what I know, this is the exact scenario, ... unless the right wing made it look totally against Muslims. So Sobhan, which usually knows what he's talking about, is saying that our assumptions are probably correct. Theomaki is saying the Muslims could have just said, rock and roll, baby, freedom of speech. Okay. But I don't know why they cut his hands. Cutting hands is a punishment for theft.
For stealing.
Yeah, for theft in Islam.
Right.
I don't know if they were they were just offended, or they were
or for touching a married woman, right? For touching a married woman.
I don't know if that's the punishment. I thought it was for theft. The Quranic verse makes it specifically that it's for theft. I don't know if you're referring to a hadith that I don't know about. Theo Mike is saying, even if religion left tomorrow. Okay, yep, he's agreeing with me. Let me see anything else here. Hi guys, I am listening. All of these things are just so horrible. Humans are so stupid. Thank you so much for being there. Oh, thank you, Mona. Saying love you and a heart. Thank you. I mean, don't lose hope in humanity. There are a lot of good people everywhere. In India, for example, there are a lot of atheist activism is growing, humanism is growing, secularism is growing. There are a lot of people in India that are fighting dogma, that are fighting superstition. So don't lose hope, okay? Again, let's try to make sure that. When it comes to religion, most of the news that we cover is negative. But guys, if you see any progress that is being made, any positive news that we find, let's try to make sure that we include it in the news that we covered. Like we had one from Poland today, right, where it seemed like positive news. But let's try to make sure that we also show people that we are making progress, because we are making a lot of progress, aren't we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. We are making leaps and bounds. We are growing exponentially, both in number and in
influence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And one major progress that we have made is that we have Ali back. I just wanted to add that at the end of the news.
It's a huge spike.
That's a huge progress that Atheist Republic has made, and great to have you back. So we're going to end it here, but this is so much fun now that there's 3 of us. I mean, I'm enjoying it a lot more. The people in the live chat, so this was our last news, but do you guys, isn't this better? Like, Ali has the 3 of us. I think we're going to have more fights as well, which is always fun.
We might have to run it 3 hours now instead of 2.
Okay. It's fine. Oh, Theo Mikey just saying, last comment I'm going to read. India has a huge atheist and humanist population. No, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does, and it's growing, and they're extremely active. So Atheist Republic, Indian consulates are some of the most active ones.
I love it. Love it.
Which is
They're doing such great things.
Beej is saying, I admire all 3 of you. Oh, thank you, Beej. Oh. By the way, if we fight and the 3 of us start fighting, we're not fighting against Ali that much because we love her so much, and we're gonna let her settle a little bit before we are comfortable again to attack her. But for a while, we're not gonna do that. But if you do see us fighting, that's because we're comfortable with each other enough to know that we could really attack each other's opinions and know that it's okay. We're gonna still be friends. It just shows that we're close enough to be comfortable to do that to each other. So don't read too much into it. But anyway,
at the end of the day, I love Armin like a big brother,
like a little brother, right? Your grandpa.
All right.
Anyways, okay.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody in the live chat. Thank you, Clint, Mike saying live long and prosper. Jack, Theo Mackie, Ethan, Muscal, I think I already read. Beach, Chrissy left, but it was great when she was here. Stacy, Sobhan, thank you so much for your great comments. And Mona, Simon, Med Hossam. Jack, what? I read Jack.
I was just saying, Jack, thank you for your comments. He always gives really good comments.
Jack was a guest on the show, by the way. Go check that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that was a really good episode. I really enjoyed that. Anyways, love you all. I'm going to stop the streaming. You guys stay on for just a second. See you guys again next week. We're going to try to do it again on Saturday. And again, thank you for correcting us whenever we made a mistake. Love you. Bye.